What's good, Swaggy Gang? It's your boy Swaggy Mo, and I'm back with another amazing and fantastic video. So, for today's video, I feel like I'm gonna be sharing with you guys something that is very, very personal to me. I've tried to make this video before, but I got overly, crazily emotional, so I probably didn't want to post that. But I said to myself that I'm gonna make another video, and I'm gonna post it regardless of the outcome. So, excuse me if I happen to get emotional along the way. This is something that is, I feel like, very close to me, something that is really, really personal to me. So yeah, but I thought that I should just share because I know so many other people that maybe might be going through it. And by no means this video is me seeking any type of pity or anything like that. Like I really don't need any of that. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So 8th grade, and I remember it like it was yesterday, literally. I was at a dance, school dance, and out of nowhere, I just experienced this crazy feeling. It felt like I was sleepy or some sort. It felt like I was just out of place, out of touch. And I couldn't really explain it. I went to the bathroom. I literally remember going to the bathroom, putting water on my face, be like, okay, this is very weird. And I couldn't really put my finger on it, but it was a very strange feeling. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm just tired and I'm gonna sleep it off. But unfortunately, it really did not happen. So I went home and it just continued from that point on. And from that point on up to, I would say literally now, and this is not to scare anybody, I have been feeling it. And sometimes it's a lot more and sometimes it's a lot less. But after doing a lot of research, I realized, or I came to terms with it, that the name of it is called Derealization and Depersonalization, where you kind of feel a little bit of detachment with your body. And it's literally one of the hardest things that I feel like I've had to experience throughout my life. From high school to college, I felt like I literally had to study maybe twice as hard as the other students and still not be able to retain as much information. It impacts your memory sometimes. It's hard for you to concentrate, hard for you to focus, but I had to just fight through it. All my life, I've always been a fighter. I never was the person to ever throw in the towel. Not to say anything to scare, but I always strive for greatness regardless of what I was dealing with from a young age. So for me, I didn't let it really impact me to that magnitude. But it was really, really tough, to the point where just focusing in school was really hard. Focusing on meetings was really hard. I always felt like I needed to move. Sometimes I felt like I had to say random stuff just because my head was just going at 1,000 miles per hour, just thinking about so many different things. It's so hard for me to sometimes just concentrate on one particular thing. It's crazy. I'm just thinking, constantly thinking. And it has been a really, really tough time for me, if I'm being honest. And I remember when I was in high school, I remember going with my mom to the emergency room, literally because I thought that something was wrong with me. And they did all type of tests, blood tests, everything came out perfect. So they couldn't necessarily put their finger on what I was experiencing. So they were like, oh, we're gonna give him some medicine and he should be fine, or whatever the case might be. But that was probably the last time that I went to the doctors in regards to that matter, because the doctors themselves don't really understand it. And I feel like a lot of the times dealing with mental health is one of those things where sometimes people think you make it up. Sometimes people think you are just saying things just to say things, which is just the craziest things. Like, why would anybody want to make up something of that sort, you know? If anything, it makes you look abnormal to a lot of people. But if you experience anything of this sort, you are normal. There's nothing wrong with it. But I remember around that time, my parents were extremely worried about it. My mom especially, literally every other day, oh, how you feeling? Are you still feeling this? It went to the point where I started just saying, oh yeah, I don't feel it no more, just because of how worrisome it can be to a parent to, know that your son is experiencing or your daughter is experiencing something that you cannot even explain yourself. So it's been a very tough journey for me, but I always kept on fighting. I always know that one day I'm gonna get to the end of the tunnel. And I just knew that this would always make me so much stronger as an individual. And I feel like it's really character building. So it's one of those things where it sucks, but I've been extremely grateful for it, just having to go through the battle itself. Sometimes it's really, really tough when I wake up and it's gloomy, or if I'm in a cold environment and the sun is not out. Those are the days that hit me the most. I don't even want to get out of bed sometimes. And sometimes just not being productive really gets me. It's almost like a trigger in a sense. Like when I feel like I'm not being productive, it really eats me up. And I am really, really hard on myself. So I've been learning to just take things a little bit, or day by day rather, because I tend to be overly critical of myself and what I feel like I'm striving to. I hold myself at a really high caliber that I feel like if I'm not performing to that level, I'm overly, like, crazily judgmental on myself. Sometimes it's even hard for me to take a nap or anything like that. So I've been learning a lot to just give myself some grace and to just take it day by day. Because if not, I would, yeah, I make my life so much harder than it needs to be. But I feel like we all as humans need to have some little bit of that fire inside of us that lets us know, yo, you gotta get this done, you gotta get that done. And I feel like for mine, I've had to depend on it a lot more than maybe the average person, just because of how sometimes you can just feel so lazy and you don't want to feel like doing anything. You're sometimes speaking to people, you speaking to them, but it's like your head is in a whole different like place. Like you're here, but you're not necessarily here. It's like you're listening to talking to people, but it's like you are experiencing something totally different. It's so trippy of a feeling, but it has been eye-opening for sure. Just knowing that, you know, God has blessed me enough to be able to fight through something like that. And I feel like I can fight through anything. I feel like if anything, it made me a warrior, and it made me a person who doesn't give up. So I have been really blessed in a sense, and I look at it in that manner because I feel like God never puts anything into your life that you cannot carry and you cannot handle. And I feel like every single day is just growth. Every single day is just, you know, getting better and better. It's a blessing that I'm able to even tell the story without breaking down, because it's something that has been weighing so heavily on me that I couldn't even explain it to people without necessarily like breaking down sometimes. It has that level of impact on me, you know, but I never let anything like this stop me. You know, I still do whatever I want to do. Anything that I want to do, I'm going to do it. You know, and sometimes I have to concentrate twice as hard with sometimes reading or you know, learning different things. But it doesn't matter. If I have to read the page over again, I'm still going to read it over again. You know, so I don't use anything as an excuse for not, you know, going after the things that I really want. So like I always say, this is an open space where you can comfortably share some of your stories. You just might never know what somebody else is going through. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this video, being that I didn't, you know, cry. So stay tuned, subscribe, love you, and peace.